this video is about the boxes for Boccherini Minuet. So the first ones that we're going to do are actually in your book on page 27. The very first bit comes from bar 10 of the piece. We're going to put, there's a little line above the music that tells us that we need to put one finger on two strings. So it's the first finger. We're going to balance our first finger on the A and the D string here. And it's a little bit tricky, especially if you have small fingers, but we do want to try not to rock back and forth when we're playing this bit. We want to get the finger to kind of overlap on both strings. So what you can imagine is that there's a string between the A and the D string, and that's the string that you're playing. And it should be that you can get that finger pretty much on both strings. I'm very lucky because I have kind of fleshy fingers. So do your best to put it on there, and then you play the box on page 27 without rolling too much. If you have a very small finger, you may have to do a little wiggle, but just do your best to try to actually set as a double stop, one finger on two strings. And then we play. So you want it to sound in tune. It's the interval of a fifth. You can even do the beginning of Twinkle. Trying to keep that finger on both strings. And the other thing is just to think about having a smooth string cross. So kind of draws a circle, doesn't it? Circle, circle. And this one goes this way. So actually, in the piece, that's the bow direction. So once you can play that box, you're going to go ahead and put a box in your music on bar 9. You start with the first finger down on both strings, and you set low to C natural on the A string, and then you play the bar. You can do it with broken slurs or without the bowing, but I'm going to go ahead and do it with the bowing. Now make sure you're thinking yellow here because there's a high 3 coming, but we play 4. So that's the first box, and do that 10 times. Please do it with twinkle rhythms first to get the intonation and to get the tone really nice. The second box is in the book on page 27. So there's a bit where it's got it written out exactly how to do the trill. So first you want to say celery, celery, 4, 1. Make sure you can say that. Then put your second finger on the E string. Starting up bow, we're going to play 2, 1, 2, 1, E, 1. And that should sound like celery, celery. So celery. Then we can try all up bows. And you want to try not to use too much bow and have a good sound. I'll make mine even smaller. Then we slur. Okay, and just practice the ornament, the trill, the turn itself, like that. Once you can play that, we want to add the octave after. So let's practice the octave. We're going to have our fourth finger first, make sure it's very curly, 4, and then a very small down bow on the lower E. Okay, then we put them together, but with spaces between each bow. Leave the 1 down, rock over to the 4, and cross the string. Make sure it's really curly. Then tiny bow. So it's fine to stop the bow on the down bow, eventually making it smooth. So eventually it becomes 4, 1. And when I join it together, I leave my 1 down while I set the 4. Reach, and then pick it up. Then you need to do all of that process on the A string. And just remember that if you're playing the version that starts in the E, your elbows are going to be in a slightly different spot than the bit that starts on the A. So my wrist is really doing this cross here. It's really high. My elbows are forward. Okay? So the key things there are actually doing the ornament how it's written, celery, celery, starting up bow, getting that fourth finger to be really in tune and bringing the elbows forward to support that, and then having that more very, very big bow on the high E or on the high A, if it's the lower one, and then very little bow on the last one so that you're making a phrasing decrescendo.